Welcome back, everybody.
Hey, this is Aubrey.
And this is Melody.
And this is our podcast, Mostly Macabre.
And it's no longer new. You've been here long enough. We've been here long enough. And thanks for sticking with us. Welcome back, Aubrey. How was your trip?
It was really good. I drove from Florida all the way to Rhode Island with my 2 kids and my 2 animals, my 100-pound German Shepherd and my cat. They were the best behaved compared to the kids. The cat was the best.
Oh my God, I can't even imagine how you did that. How many hours is that?
Oh, if I went start to finish, it's 24. But I stop in North Carolina. So I break it up. So it takes a long time. It's more than 24.
Oh my God.
So yeah, no, it was an experience.
Even imagine.
Yeah. No.
The animals alone sound like a lot.
Well, the funny
and then
thing
you add in
is,
2 kids.
well, the kids are like, at least they can complain. The animals don't have words, you know? So, so it's like more annoying. No, the dog actually, he does really well in the car. So I wasn't too worried about him getting, like, he doesn't get car sick. He doesn't, like, whine and cry. Like, he's really good. Because I've always kind of taken him in the car. 20 minutes in, he puked in the back.
Oh, my gosh.
I was like, you've got to be kidding me.
You were probably still in Tampa.
I was still in Florida. I went to the car. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. They're like, Mom, Cliffy puked. And I was like, just leave it. Just leave it. I'm not even stopping yet. Like,
didn't it smell, though?
No, luckily, the dog stinks himself. I was like, this is going to be a smelly ride.
Oh, my God.
So no crate for either animal.
Well, the cat was in a little carrier. The cat is a pro. He might meow in the beginning, and then he, like, just stops.
He's been doing this all his life,
all
right?
his life. Exactly. So, like, when he does meow, I'm like, oh, he needs to use the bathroom. Like, he's good.
That's amazing.
No, he's a really good traveler. But, so yeah, that was the only hiccup with the dog. Other than that, he did really well. He did really, really well. And then when we did stuff, the kids are like, Mom, where's the puke? And I was like, oh, he probably ate it.
Oh, that's disgusting. At least you didn't have to clean it up.
I know. Well, at least, exactly. I don't have to clean it. But I did realize, though, in this trip that traveling is meant for dogs. Like, there are dog parks off the highway. Like, it's like every time you drive, there's like these big signs like, 3-acre dog park at this exit. And I never noticed them.
I've never noticed them.
Because I don't
have a traveling dog.
Yeah, I've never traveled with a dog. So I was like, oh, convenient. Let's go let him stretch his little legs. And he did pretty well. So, and then, right after the dog puked, Ryder was like, Mom, I think I'm car sick. I was like, oh my God, it's going to be the trip from hell.
I get car sick really bad.
Yeah, I gave him some Dramamine, and I was like, okay, chew on. It's like a little chewable one. I was like, eat that, go to sleep. Oh God, this could go really badly. But no, so luckily we get that handled, and we were good to go. But it was a good trip. We went home. We went to Salem. So that was really fun. We had a good time.
I want to go to Salem. Maybe this October I'll go.
Yeah, I think I want to. We definitely want to go back. Like, we kind of went on a.
Don't they do Halloween events and stuff?
Yeah, they do a lot of them. And it was busy, even though it's summer. Like, it was very, very busy.
I know they canceled them for COVID, but I'm hoping that they're back up.
Oh, they will be, because they were open and busy now. But we went and did one tour at like a witch museum or something, but not the witch museum. Like, that one you get to pay ahead of time. So I'm like, next time, now that we've been, I think we're gonna like plan it out a little bit better. So like almost have time frames. But like, it was interesting. We went into a lot of shops. Oh, the shops are so great. But my kids were like, oh, I want this, I want that. It's like this little pendulum or like all these little things. And they're like, we already have that. We already have that.
You already have a pendulum?
And I'm like, oh, can we get this? I'm like, we already have that.
Mommy's got all this stuff.
Can I get these tarot cards? I'm like, we've got a couple sets. We don't need that. So we get a sweatshirt, like, I was like, all right, guys, we'll share this sweatshirt because we all wanted the same one. I'm like, I'm not buying the same one 3 times. We'll just share it. But no, we had fun. We ate good food. It was a good time. So that was one of the highlights. But Bella, who's been dying to go, the preteen angst, my God. I'm like, we're finally here. And she was like, I want boba. I want boba the whole time. And she's never had boba. This is a whim. And like my mom, me, my friend Eric went, we're like, okay, well, if we see some boba, you can have it, but enjoy what we're doing. And she just like, I want boba the whole stinking time. And I'm like, oh my God, I was ready to kill her. So she's like, I had a blast. And I was like, really? because you didn't show it. Because you
I would have
wanted
never
boba.
known.
Must have been some good boba. Did she get the boba?
Nope, she didn't get that. I'm actually kind of glad because she was being miserable. So you know what? You don't deserve that boba. So I was like, call your aunt. She'll take you for boba. All right, that's her thing. They have that in St. Pete, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So, but no, that was just one thing we did, and then we had a lot of seafood. A lot of seafood.
Oh, yummy.
We went to Newport. Me and Ryder, we camped out in my mom's yard, so I slept in a tent. That was really uncomfortable, but fun. He called his friend to like FaceTime, and he was like, "Mike, look at this is the coolest thing I've done in a long time." He's like FaceTiming in the tent, and, like trying to block my face. But no, we had a good time. It was well needed. Went to the beach. Oh, my niece and nephew. I finally get to meet my niece. She's
Aww. How old is she?
She's only like 3.5 months.
Aw, she's new.
She's new, and she's like a little peach that smells good, and she's fuzzy.
Oh,
she
so
is
cute.
so well behaved. I have never in my life met a newborn. She's the definition of chill. This kid, I think I was there for 2 weeks, and she cried maybe 3 times. Like, she just smiles. She makes eye contact. She engages. Like,
And she's 3 months?
3 months. She is so good, which is a relief for my sister because my nephew, who is super cute, is a maniac. So, like, they really balance each other out. But no, we had a good time. It was really good. The kids, like, Bella was in love picking up the babies, and because she's like the big cousin, you know, so she's holding them, and she had a great time. She gave Shane, my nephew, she's like, she's like, who wants a facial? No one wants a facial. Shane's like, I want a facial. She gives him a facial, and he's like, Mommy, my skin is so smooth. So yeah.
You're a baby. It's smooth anyway.
It's smooth. Exactly. But yeah, but he loved it, so it was a good time. Everyone had the time they needed. How was your trip?
Oh, that's right. Because last time we recorded, I hadn't gone to Spain yet. It was really good. So I got to meet all of my coworkers, and I loved it. Everybody was so nice and so cool. And it was so good to see that everybody loves working there. Like, we all love our company and like being there. And it's just such a difference from,
What a change.
But you know what's funny? It's like if my company sent me to Spain, I'd love them too. Like, of course you all love it. You're all in Spain.
It was a good mix of work and play. It was a lot of
Nice.
fun. Yeah.
Did you like? Is there something that you did that wasn't work related that like you really loved? Or, like,
Yeah, the pool was not work related, but basically because it was hot. So like we would have morning meetings and then somebody's in the pool and then more people are in the pool. We had lots of drinks and yummy food, and the place where we stayed at, it was like this family that runs it. So basically all of the food and everything that they're making is homemade.
Oh my
And it was
God,
delicious. It was
that's-
so good. The views were beautiful because it was like in a winery. So like whenever you drive in, you see like the vineyards and stuff, and then you're kind of like up on a mountain type thing, so you can see from the elevated point of view, you can see like down, and it was just really pretty. And then I was shocked because around 9:30 at night, it was completely bright outside. It looked like it was 6 or 5.
Really? At 9:30?
Yeah, 9:30 at night. It was like bright. I was like, oh, this is amazing. I was like, I love this.
That is
but that's
fun.
also why they eat late. I don't know. Maybe this is why they eat late, but it's like a very cultural thing that they eat very late in Spain. And so, one of my coworkers found it a little bit difficult to adapt to that part of the eating because
oh, I can just keep eating. Like, I'm like, all right, dinner 1, dinner 2. Don't they call that supper?
well, she was hungry because she wasn't used to eating so late. Like we would start eating dinner at like 7:30, and she would get hungry earlier. But
Snack.
yeah, no, there was plenty of food.
Yeah.
Like there was snacks the whole entire time.
That's
but
so
it was
funny.
really fun. I enjoyed it.
Did you get to go anywhere, or was you basically at the
I didn't
hotel?
have time to go anywhere. And then also getting there was such a pain in the ass because the domestic flights here in America, I don't know if you guys have heard about it, but they're a train wreck right now.
Yeah.
So, just trying to get out of the United States, I was delayed 24 hours because I missed my connecting flight by no fault of my own.
Yeah, I've
and
had
so
that
by
happen.
the time I got there to Miami, my plane had already left. And I'm like, well, shit, if I had known this was going to happen, I would have just stayed in Tampa
No
and
kidding. It is
spent the
Miami.
night at home instead of being in Miami.
Yeah.
So they ended up giving me a hotel room, which actually I don't think they were supposed to give it to me, because if it's like weather delays like that, they don't give it to everybody. But I think she just felt really bad for me because I looked pitiful. And she gave me the hotel room. She gave me some meal vouchers. And then I couldn't find my luggage. So I had to go and find my luggage because that was lost. So by the time I got to the hotel room, it was like 10:30. I didn't want to go anywhere to find food. And I didn't want to order anything in either. So I just went to bed and woke up and tried again the next day.
Oh my God, that's horrible.
It was really bad. So I missed about half of the event, and I will say the other half was so worth it. But it was rough trying to get there initially.
That's discouraging. I'd be like, please don't be a moment.
I was like, I just want to go home at this point.
Yeah.
But it made up for it once I got there.
Awesome. That's so fun.
So yeah, we were both on trips, and that's why we haven't recorded. And I don't know, how long's it been? Like a month and a half?
A week.
Just a few
Right.
hours.
It's been a week.
Anything new in your world, Kevin?
No, I feel very boring and
Especially after
lame
these stories?
After these stories, yeah.
The usual.
The huge, yes, working.
We're
I
usually
went
boring
home
too.
to visit my parents as well because my cousin graduated from nursing school and we were all very proud of her.
Yay, congratulations.
But I was talking with my dad randomly, and he just very casually brought up this story about how him and mom went to California one time, and they ended up having to stay in like this really old hotel. And they left because they were having really bad problems with the water, and the water smelled terrible. And I was like, "Excuse me, what was the name of the hotel?" He's like, "I don't know, I don't remember." And I was like, "Was it the Cecil?" He's like, "Yes, that's the one. That's where we stayed." And I was like,
Get
"What?
out. What year was this?
And I don't remember the year, but I was like, "So did you know that a girl went missing there?" And he's like, "Yeah, I found out after we left that they found a girl there." And I was like,
water.
"And that's why your water smelled so bad, because she was found in the water tank." And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "I found out after the fact."
Oh my
So
God.
they were there at the Cecil Hotel when Elisa Lam was missing, and they complained about the water smelling. I was like,
My God.
"Oh my God, that's
So your
disgusting."
parents have a little piece of Elisa Lam in them.
I suppose. But I was shocked, and I was like, "You've never told me this story." He's like, "How would I know it's something you wanted to hear?" I was like,
How can you not share that?
Wait for the
God.
podcast, Pop.
So
I
how
was
did they feel
aghast.
after they realized why? Like, did they have any thoughts about that? What did he say?
"Not really."
He was just super casual.
He was just super chill, super casual about it. He's like, "Yeah, we left because the water just smelled awful." And I was like, "Dad, it smelled like dead person. There was a dead person in your water."
Oh my
The water
God.
you took a shower with.
Did they shower?
Yes,
there?
they showered.
And brushed their teeth?
Probably.
Holy shit. That is unreal. That is unreal.
I'd have a hard time getting over that person.
Oh my
I would be so
God.
casual.
To each their own.
He was super casual about it.
How about your mom? She blocked
She
it out.
was even more casual about
You think it was
it.
denial? You think she was
Huh?
just shutting it down? Like,
My
shit.
mom, she's so funny because she does shut down that type of stuff
Yep.
immediately, because she's a God-fearing woman. She's very close to her religion and stuff. So she's actually had several type of experiences with the paranormal, but she's like, "I don't believe in that stuff. I don't believe in it." She just like in her mind says like, "I don't believe it."
Like, it will
And-
happen, then she's like, nope.
Yeah,
not
she's like,
today.
"Nope,
Not ever.
I don't believe it." And I'm like, "How do you not believe it with like the shit that you've seen?"
That is so crazy.
Yeah, she just shuts it down.
That's wild. That's quite the story
I
to
think
just
that's
bring
probably
up
why it
casually.
doesn't fuck with her though, because
Yeah.
she's just like, "Nope."
Nope, not happening.
Yeah.
It's a conscious decision.
Yeah,
It is not
exactly.
happening.
She's like, "If I don't let it into my life, it's not going to affect
It's
me.
not gonna hurt me."
It's like, I do not accept that energy." And she doesn't.
Well, good for her. I wish we could all be that way to a degree.
Yeah.
She was telling me the story about when a demon tried to drag my little baby soul into the depths of the underworld.
We got to get Mom on the podcast.
Your mom is high. I'm kidding. How did
So
this?
she was telling me another story whenever I went home this past time, how like whenever I was a little baby, like I was only like a few weeks old or whatever, and we were like poorer whenever I was little, and like they didn't have like a little like baby thing to like put me in.
Like a bassinet?
Yeah. So they put me like in between, like it would be mom and then it would be me and then it would be dad. And so then they woke up one morning or like one day in the middle of the night because they heard like a thump and then I just started to cry and like wail.
Oh my God.
And she was like, she woke up and my dad told her not to move. He's like, don't move, stay there because I don't want you to accidentally step on her. So he starts like fumbling around and like trying to find where I'm at. And I was at the foot of the bed. And I'm only weeks old. So it's not like I could have crawled to the foot of the bed and like fallen off. And it would have had to been something like pulling me to the foot of the bed. Like there's no way that this 3-week-old newborn would have just happened to be and like fall at the foot of the bed.
But did one of them punt you by accident? Like your dad didn't ever tell your mom, like, I was dreaming about soccer. All of a sudden, that's why he's like, don't move.
I don't know. And then
that ball far.
So then they turned the lights on and then they went back to sleep or whatever. But yeah, she always finds that story peculiar, but also just shuts it down.
Mm-hmm. That is creepy.
Yeah.
I think someone punted you.
Yeah, it might have been Dad, and he's like, "Oh, it was definitely a demon." Definitely
Crap. Don't move. Yeah, definitely a demon. I didn't do this. Don't move. She could be anywhere. Well, what story do you have for us today, Melody?
Okay. So today so you know how I always kind of jump around? Mm-hmm. I started off trying to find you guys a treasonous murder at sea.
Ooh.
And I was looking and none of them spoke to me. So eventually I ended up on Melissa Caddick. She is a female con woman who is missing. So yeah, far from where I started looking, but this is where I am now. So Melissa Caddick, she was a known fraudster with a history of crime who always managed to get away and evade the law. And on November 20th of 2020, so not that long ago, investigators from the ASIC, which stands for the Australian Securities and Investments Commission, raided her fancy home at Dover Heights in Sydney of New South Wales after they found that she was operating a financial services business without a license. Because apparently you have to have a license for those types of things. And after that night, Melissa was never seen alive. So it was 3 months before any news happened and they heard of anything about Melissa. And of course, people naturally assume that she had fled because why wouldn't she? Like her home just got raided. They're trying to confiscate her belongings. So given the investigation and everything going on in her life
and her character,
yeah, it would only make sense that Melissa fled the bitch and was gone. But then a disembodied foot washes up inside a sports shoe on a Bournda beach 400 kilometers from where she was last seen. Okay. And then she was declared deceased.
So they knew it was her foot. They're like, that's definitely her shoe.
Yeah. They did like the DNA thing and everything and evaluated it and decided that, yeah, it was Melissa's foot.
If she was devoted to this con artist thing, I mean, she could have just cut her foot off.
That's what I think.
That's true.
But let's back it up a little bit. So Melissa was born Melissa Caddick was born Melissa Grimley on April 21st of 1971. I looked it up. She's a Taurus, very stubborn. I have a Taurus in my life. She spent her formative years in Logarno, a southern suburb of Sydney. And after high school, she took a secretarial and business admin course at Patrick's College in Australia in Sydney. So her education is secretarial and business admin, not whatever the fuck she was pretending earlier.
Okay.
She allegedly padded her resume with fake qualifications such as degrees in finance from the University of Technology, Sydney. But the University of Technology, Sydney later said that they did not know her. There was no record of completion of a graduate diploma in finance or a master's of business in finance or any type of qualification under the name of Melissa Caddick or Melissa Grimley. They're like, she's never been here at all. And yeah, she was lying about that too. So this is what I believe is her villain origin story.
Ooh, okay.
Just my personal belief. In her early 20s, Melissa was a victim of a con man that embezzled money from her family and eventually from her. He maxed out her credit cards And she decided that she was in love with him. She refused to see the red flags everywhere, like the fact that he just conned your entire family. And she ran away with him before the man disappeared and left her emotionally and financially broke.
Okay. So that's what introduced her to this world.
I think so. I think it probably sparked something in her.
Revenge.
So Melissa begins her career. She's working at NRMA's investment division, which is, I looked it up, stands for National Roads and Motorists Association. I don't really know what that is. I guess it's like a Geico. I don't know. It's Australian, and they have an investment division. And there she was a secretary, but she would get super pissed if anyone referred to her as a secretary because she always felt like she was more.
Oh, so she has an ego.
Exactly. Definitely she has an ego. And she presented herself as immaculately polished, an example of dressing for the job you want, not the job that you have. So, like, she was the secretary, but she would dress like
an executive.
Yeah, like an executive.
I don't have anything bad to say about that.
Which, good for her. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's fine. What she goes on to do isn't so fine.
Especially if you can afford that wardrobe on your secretary salary.
Right? So far, so good. A former boss told the Herald her manicured presentation seemed suited to a job she aspired to rather than the job she had. Friends recall that she was a dishonest person. One friend recalls that Melissa stole a butter knife from a restaurant. Quote, "We'd be at dinner and she would say, 'That's a beautiful butter knife,' and then she'd just steal it." And she admitted to having an attractive pair of salt and pepper shakers at her home that were stolen from a restaurant in Paddington.
So she was a little klepto.
So she was a little kleptomaniac. She would steal little things here and there.
You know, I'm gonna be honest, like, I don't get the butter knife thing because, like, it would drive me nuts to know that it doesn't match the rest of my set.
Same. I'd be like, I have this one mismatched butter knife that doesn't match anything else. I would need to steal at least four.
Yeah, like a whole set. Like, I couldn't do
Maybe
it.
it was just the thrill.
It's got to be the thrill because
where that butter knife came from.
The annoyance afterward is not worth it. At least for me.
I agree. In 1998, she was fired from NRMA Investment Division because she was forging her boss's name on checks.
Oh, there you go.
That'll get you fired.
Huh? No problem.
Yeah, right.
Exactly. Only fired. She forged 4 checks. She only worked there for 6 months at the time. And this is when she was 27. They actually didn't make a big deal out of it. And they let her just leave without calling the police. It was $2,000 in total, and they didn't even make her repay it.
Wow. She must have been charming.
Probably.
She must have been really,
so
like,
weird.
Yeah. Because I can't see that just like, you know, we're just going
$2,000. I mean, it's not a whole lot of money, but it's not a little bit of money.
It's over
either.
500, which is like, what's it? Larceny over 500 is a felony or something. So,
This is in Australia. I don't know
so
how
I
it
don't know
works
what their,
there.
I don't know what their rules are, but still,
Yeah.
2,000 is a good chunk of change to steal from your company.
I think so.
Within 6 months. Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe she knew something. I don't know. I'm just speculating at this point. But
She must have been charming.
yeah, she was charming as hell, and she evaded the law, and they didn't do anything after she was forging checks and stole $2,000. And then shortly after that, she married an English builder's laborer, Melissa Caddick, from the UK. So she marries a nice blue-collar man, and they were married in Sydney on April 20th, 2000. So 4/20/2000. And Melissa pushed Tony, who had studied political science, to finish his law degree, and he did, and he was admitted as a solicitor. I don't know what that is.
That's a lawyer.
A lawyer? Oh,
That's what they
okay.
call him in like the UK and I guess Australia, a solicitor.
Interesting. I didn't know that. I'm only used to the American solicitors that nobody likes.
No soliciting.
Yeah, exactly. No soliciting. She bought a share of Wise Financial, 25% actually, which was a successful financial planning business, after borrowing $750,000. So now she owns a little chunk of Wise Financial here. And by 2003, she had become so well regarded in her field that she was featured on a cover of the trade magazine Independent Financial Advisor.
Oh, wow.
Their son was then born in 2006, 3 years later. In 2010, the family moved abroad to Essex to live closer to Tony's family while he commuted daily to his job in London. So she's not doing too bad for her 30s. Mm-hmm. Things appear to be looking pretty good. Then, though, she quit Wise because they wouldn't let her do crime there. They told her, Melissa, you're not allowed to directly recommend property and shares for clients. That's against ethics and compliance rules. And she just didn't understand why.
Well, that's because she didn't have a degree. She pretended to have a degree. I'm not sure why you're telling me
this.
this.
Insider trading type thing, like where you're not allowed to like tell your clients like invest in this or don't invest in this or pull your money out of that because
I don't know anything about it. So that sounds like it would make sense. I don't know.
But anyway, it's against ethics and compliance. Remember compliance? But Melissa would not go quietly. She spun a series of lies about receiving huge payouts from the company. One for an $86 million business deal that she made up, and another for a sexual harassment case that never happened. But it became a story for how she was affording her lavish lifestyle. So she would tell people that she had won this money in like this case, and that's why she was able to afford the stuff that she was able to afford. But in reality,
she's pathological, starting right from the beginning.
she's not a good person. She doesn't sound like a great person. In reality, the only money that she received in the separation from Wise was the return of her original $750K investment after she signed a 5-year non-compete agreement. So, yeah.
That's a good chunk of change.
That's a good chunk of money to put in originally. So she had to.
It is, but she borrowed it.
Okay.
So I don't know if I don't know. She probably didn't return it because she's a con artist, but I would think you would return that to who you borrowed it from, because I wouldn't want to be $750,000 in debt.
I mean, in order to even get someone to loan you that is, again, you must be super charming.
In the UK, her marriage was falling apart by her own doing. She was caught cheating on her husband, Tony, with her later-to-be husband, Anthony Coletti.
Anthony.
I know, both Tonys. While she had claimed to be on a business course in Switzerland, she was actually in Paris doing nasty things with Anthony Coletti, her hairdresser from Sydney.
A hairdresser.
Okay.
How romantic.
Paris is a romantic city from what people say. I've never been.
That's what they say.
I've also heard it's pretty dirty.
I was going to say, I heard that too. I don't know if it still is, but I remember hearing that.
I don't know if we want to include that part, but
I'm not saying it is. We've never been. We're just saying
I've only heard. There's a rumor.
Look, there are rumors about
clarify.
America, and guess what? They're
Exactly.
true. So.
It's only Melody saying Paris is filthy.
I don't believe it. I've never been. I can't speak for myself. Never had an experience. But yeah, Tony found out through a mutual friend that Melissa was meeting up with Anthony in Paris. So when Tony confronted her, Caddick cleaned out their home in Essex, emptied their joint bank accounts, and moved back to Sydney with their son in January 2012.
Oof.
So she wasn't even like, it's not true. She was just like, okay, bye.
Ouch.
Mm-hmm. Melissa is all about appearances, though, and in order to not appear to be the adulterer, because who wants to be the adulterer in the relationship, she just lied and falsely claimed that Tony was abusing her and that he was cheating on her and that he had lied about his job.
Like she does?
Like she does. Basically all the things that she did.
Yeah, that's typical of a narcissist and a cheater.
So true. So in 2013, they divorced, and later that year, she marries the hairdresser, Tony.
Poor bastard.
She commits to the lie. Tony moves to Sydney because he wants to be closer to his son, who is living with his mother, and the bitch tries to block him from seeing his son. But luckily, it doesn't work, and Tony starts to become confused because his son was telling him stories about flying in private jets and flying first class, and he's like, well, where the hell does she get private jet money from?
How old's the son at this point? Do we know?
He was born in 2006, I believe. Yeah, he was born in 2006. They were divorced in 2013. So how old does that make him? Yeah, so he's still young enough to, definitely old enough to tell you what's going on and like
and young enough to not
back.
realize that he's given a lot of information.
Such a good age. Melissa had her own company called Maliver. She collected over $30 million in 8 years, and it's believed that she began the major scheme in 2012. So shortly before moving back to Australia from the UK, if you remember, they divorced in 2013. So it was like right before the divorce when she began her company, Maliver.
So she was planning this.
So she was already starting
In the
to,
works.
yeah, it was already happening, and that's where this money was coming from. And
You know, she's smart. So it's too bad that she's such a criminal and a bad person, because it's like if you just use it for good and you can make honest money.
I always wonder that about these con men and women, like these con people. Like they're so smart to be doing what they're doing, and they're usually very charismatic, usually very like people are attracted to them type of person.
That's how they do it. Yeah.
But it's like you have all this potential and you're choosing to use it the wrong way. Like you'll lose it all. You could really do something.
Yeah. I always think that too. Because she's smart, clearly. She clearly has a knack for whatever it is she's doing. So
I agree.
It's too bad.
I never understand it.
Nor do you want to.
So each year her scheme would get stronger, with 2019 being her strongest year. The Maliver brochures she used claimed that she had a master's in business and was a certified financial planner, which she was not. As we know, she was only a secretary. She went to secretary school, and that's all she was really certified to do. The business operated using someone else's Australian financial services license, her own life insurance brokers.
What?
Yeah, Melissa. Girl.
She used their license? Okay.
Her life insurance broker, who she was insured with, she
stole their information.
License. She probably found it like on some paperwork or whatever, because if she's insuring with them, it's probably on some of the paperwork that she receives. And so that's what she was using.
That's wild.
So once Melissa had the victim's money, she would create a fake ComSec share trading account for each one. I think this is kind of like E-Trade for Sydney.
Okay.
The funds were split up through 37 different bank accounts. We already know that she's not above forgery, so as needed, she would forge a little signature here and there. And then, when needed, the justice of the peace too, because why not?
If you're already writing out names, you might as well just slap a few more on there.
Who happened to be her father-in-law, Rodo Coletti. So, Anthony's dad.
Okay.
She emailed clients a fake monthly report claiming stunning returns of up to 30%. So every month she would send them their little report.
Oh my God.
Showing them how rich they're becoming. And they would then be convinced to invest some more because they are thinking she's doing such a good job. Let me just invest some more money. And they'd be so happy. They'd bring their friends along. It just became a whole thing. So, quote, Counsel for Australian Securities and Investments Commission, the ASIC, Fareed Assad, SC, said that as befitting a successful businesswoman, Caddick exploited the incomes of her crimes to acquire all the trappings of wealth, and that her success was all a facade in the financial services business was an elaborate front for Miss Caddick's Ponzi scheme. So she felt like she had to look the part in order to be able to pull these things off. So like looking expensive and taking all these trips and stuff, she felt like was making her look more credible in order to be able to pull more people into her schemes. She's not wrong. Because I would see that and I'd be like, well, she's doing really well. Like, she must know a thing or two.
She does know a thing or two about a thing or two. Look at her.
So the victims included her friends and family, and her victims were mostly friends and family, which is what gets me. I'm like, damn, why do you have to do your friends and family like that? Most of who ended up losing their entire life savings.
That's so shitty.
Right?
That, I mean, it's not
Oh
even,
my
the crazy thing
God.
about that is it's like it's your friends and family. So like
Your close friends and family.
it's like
There's
you have
plenty of
nowhere to go.
strangers.
You're done. Like that's
Yeah.
it. Now you're alone. Like it's just
I don't
wild.
mind a scam or two whenever they're stealing from the man. Like
man.
large corporations or like
A jewel
some
heist.
government. Yeah, stuff like that. I'm like, shit, yes. I kind of like...
No, this is the working man, the little person.
Yes,
And not
this
just
is
your
your
little
friends
person,
and
your
family.
family. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I
So really,
can't.
when you steal from your friends and family, you're stealing from yourself in a like kind of. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's so low. She's
She's shitty.
yeah, she's a sociopath or something.
We
She's
don't
got
like
nothing.
her. She scammed her parents, She scammed her parents, Barb and Ted Grimley, her brother Adam, her uncles, aunts, and cousins.
Oh, wow.
She stole from childhood friends and their families, her personal trainer, her employees, and surgeons in Perth, introduced to her by a friend of her brother.
Okay, she is a bad person.
So
this
her
is
entire circle.
This isn't even distant family or like your husband's family. This is your mom and dad.
You got mom
Her
and dad,
personal trainer.
Oh my
cousins,
God.
trainer. Oof.
That's rough. She's a bad person.
No remorse. My goodness. So Caddick had allegedly spent investors' finances on 2 homes in Sydney's eastern suburbs, as well as luxury cars, designer clothing, artwork, and jewelry. One woman who invited her to her 50th birthday party and was also a childhood friend of hers said that Caddick attended in a $2,500 designer Dolce & Gabbana dress
Jesus.
a month before her disappearance. She claimed that the fraudster stole $10 million from her family. Quote, looking back, she was ripping off everyone at my party, every single member of my family, plus another couple I had invited, the woman told the Herald. Can you believe that?
That's wild.
You're having your birthday party, you invite close friends and family, and this bitch has been stealing from everyone there. When the ASIC raided Caddick's home, they confiscated expensive handbags, shoes, and designer clothes. So shit started to hit the fan in 2019. A client double-checked the documentation that Melissa was providing. So
Finally.
I know. Finally.
I'm going to be honest with you. If I'm going to hand over so much money, I'm going to double check that first thing.
Exactly. But she's close friends and family. So like,
that's how it goes. Oh God. I mean,
Yeah.
I say that, watch me get like swindled now because I put it out there.
I feel like if my brother was investing my money for me and showing me the returns every month, I probably wouldn't question it because he's my brother.
Yeah.
But
But
I
you
don't
would
know.
now.
It's different. Like I don't know. I feel like she had to have had some sort of.
She's charming.
There had to have been
Charisma.
red flags before this. So, like, for example, the butter knife and, like, her stealing, being a klepto or whatever.
And a
That's
liar.
already, like, a history of dishonesty.
But her friends described her as a liar. So, like, clearly it wasn't anything, like, it just got worse as she got older.
The woman whose Australian financial services license she was using notified the ASIC. So, her broker, the life insurance broker. And at the time, the complaints were recorded, but nothing was done. That was in 2019. Because it probably takes a while to, like, gather evidence.
But
for
how
these types
frustrating
of
if it's your
crimes.
license and it's, like, under your name.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
Can you imagine? That's your
probably interrupts-
livelihood.
Yeah, exactly. It interrupts your business. Another complaint in June 2020 contained more details, and ASIC applied to the federal court to freeze her assets and seized her passport. So now she can't go anywhere, and her money's frozen. Finally, 5 months later is when the raid happened. Melissa promptly goes on the run, or so everybody thinks.
Where's her child?
I don't know where her child is at this moment, but remember whenever Tony moved to Sydney to be closer to his son, in the article that I read, it said that at that time he was staying with his grandmother.
Okay. I was just wondering because, like...
So I don't know if
So
that
he
was
didn't go
only
missing either.
during
So
then.
he's good. The son. It's just her that took off.
Yeah.
Okay.
As far as I know, he did not go missing. It was just her. So after Caddick was assumed to be dead, the ASIC dropped 38 charges against her, and they also withdrew the warrant for her arrest. So is that how it works?
If you're dead?
Yeah, like the charges just drop because you're dead.
Well, I guess you can't because you can't prosecute them, I guess. I mean, I know that, like, say you're in jail, like they're holding you and you're going to go on trial for murder, like at least here, and then you die in jail. Well, you can't be convicted because you can't defend yourself. You have the right to defend yourself. So pretty much it just goes away.
I guess that makes
So it's kind of the
sense,
same
but to
thing.
me, it's like it was just a foot.
You can survive without a foot.
That's
But you know what,
agree.
though? Let's be real. Like, now the more you talk about, it's like her being dead. She had a lot of people that wanted to kill her.
Yeah.
So,
That's not a lie.
There's a lot of motive there.
and there's a
many
lot of
people had
suspects.
motive.
Like, you can't even narrow it down to everyone.
They would try to sell her belongings to repay the 72 clients who claimed that they were owed more than $23 million. She took overseas holidays, often flying first class. So, for example, she spent $120K on flights to go skiing in Aspen, Colorado, and $63K on just 2 trips to Fiji. So, yeah, they're trying to reclaim this money, but at the same time, like, some of that's never going to be recovered.
No,
like these flights to Aspen, these experiences that she's been living, you're not going to get that back. She even spent $25K on protein shakes.
Oh my God.
How the fuck do you spend $25K on protein shakes?
She must have been buff.
What kind of protein
She was
shakes are
healthy.
these? That's an insane amount of money to spend on protein shakes.
How much protein do you need a day?
How many years worth of protein is that? So they're trying to recover the money, including her $6 million Dover home. But Anthony Coletti, her current husband, was objecting. The federal court gave Caddick's family 6 weeks to stake their claims over Caddick's home and a penthouse apartment in Edgecliff where Caddick's parents lived. So Caddick's parents claimed that what they gave Melissa was $1 million, a little bit more than $1 million, with the understanding that part ownership of the home was for them and that they could live there. So that was their claim, which makes sense. I kind of feel like they should get to keep it because they got fucked over
They
really
technically
bad.
paid for it,
Yeah, and they thought they were paying for it. Coletti also made a claim in April 2022 for a share of Caddick's assets, including her Gucci wedding dress, $7 million in shares, $2 million worth of jewelry, 2 properties he claims are valued at $20 million, and the proceeds from the sale of their luxury cars. But I'm not sure on what basis. He was just like, that's mine.
That's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I don't think that he has a good basis like the parents do.
That's a lot of stuff. Like
That's a lot. That's a
Yeah.
lot of money and a lot of stuff. But May 2022, the federal court said nah and ordered Coletti to vacate the home so that it could be sold by liquidators.
I agree.
That was only this year, May 2022. When Melissa disappeared, her son detected a door shutting at around 5 a.m. Something they probably had like one of those beep beep, like whenever you're leaving, and thought that it was Caddick going for her daily exercise.
For a daily protein shake.
So probably like a little jog. Only she didn't take anything with her. So she didn't take her phone. She didn't take her keys. She didn't take her wallet. When I go walking, I don't necessarily, like, depends. Like if I'm just going around the neighborhood, I still take my phone and I definitely take my Apple Watch. So I don't just leave with nothing. Like I would
And my
take my
son was
keys
home,
too.
so like you think you take your keys, or at least your house key.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't usually
But at my
leave
mom's
with
house, like that's
nothing.
here. But at my mom's house, I could leave with nothing
I don't know.
because of like the area. Like I wouldn't think twice about.
I would still want to take my phone, but I'm very much attached to my phone, so I don't know if that's just me. And my Apple Watch because I want to count my steps.
And your heart rate. I mean, I can see the Apple Watch, but like, I don't know, like me running around my neighborhood here in Florida, yeah, I'm gonna have my phone on me. But at my mom's house where I grew up and it's a lot smaller, I wouldn't lock the door. I would just go and come back. Like, I wouldn't think twice. So I guess it just depends on like,
I
what
bring
it's
my
like
phone
there.
because I'm clumsy. And I might need to call for help.
Me too, exactly. Like, what if I need somebody to pick me up and I walk too far and I can't walk back?
Look, I got really overzealous. I was feeling super healthy.
Oh, it starts
My protein
raining.
shake was
I got too
packed full
excited.
with energy this morning.
What if I need an Uber for the way back?
Exactly.
I don't know. I mean, I guess I can see how, like I said, here, no way in hell would I leave without my phone or something. But there, I could see myself doing it. Most likely, I'd have my phone because, again, I'm kind of addicted to my phone too. But I don't know. I mean, it's weird. If she's going out for a jog, I can see someone leaving without it. But
So, I think maybe they also thought that that was unusual behavior for her.
I was gonna say it kind of depends on her routine. Like if she normally has it, then yeah, you'd be like you said, you would have it. So if you left it, I'd be like, no, something's wrong.
Yeah, I feel like if I left with nothing and Jay noticed that I was gone and like all my stuff was there, he would probably be worried.
It'd have to depend on the person. So if she always had it with her, then yeah, I guess that's the red flag.
Michael Willing, the assistant commissioner of the New South Wales Police Force, said that Caddick's family were informed about her DNA match after her decomposed foot washed up on Borinda Beach on the state's south coast, just south of Tathra on 21 February 2021. The foot's southern location matched the tidal and drift pattern modeling undertaken by the Marine Police. So it was where it would have been expected to be.
But I mean, do they know? How do they know where it's expected to be unless they know where the drop point was?
I guess kind of estimating from where she went missing, which was around her home.
I think it's weird. It's just a foot.
I think that's really weird.
Because if they expected to find something and that's all you found, then why wouldn't there be the rest of it?
Show me a jawbone or a skull.
Yeah.
Give me some dental records.
Something that's going to be like, you can't live without and you're going to notice that something's missing.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you can know someone's foot is missing, but if they have all that money that she just, swindled away from everyone and she can
can
just
buy
take
a
off.
prosthetic.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, you can live without a foot.
You can get a better foot.
Like, did it look like it was a clean what's it, a bionic foot? Go gadget foot.
She just upgraded her foot, that's all.
All of these prosthetics
This bitch
have
is
AI
fine.
in them now.
Yeah. So, like, I wonder, like, was it, like, did it look jagged? Was it a clean cut? Can they tell? You know what I mean? Like, she's got the money.
It was somewhat decomposed, though, so I don't know if they would be able to tell, like, how...
Well, you can tell
Like,
it.
did she saw it off?
The bone.
Was it bitten off?
Bitten off? It was a shark bite. Well, like, you can tell if it was not the flesh, I guess that would be decomposed. But the bone, there would be marks in it.
True.
So,
There's
I'm just
no
curious.
mention of that, but that is a good question. That's...
But either way, I mean, she could have just been like, saw it off to whoever it was. And then, or like paid someone. I'd be like, knock me out and do this right. But
Right.
But yeah, I think it's weird though that only a foot washed up. Like if, again, I don't know enough about it. Like, why do they expect it to be there? I mean, unless you have a drop point, that's how you kind of measure the current in the whatever. And then also, why didn't the arm float up?
Yeah, why is there nothing else?
And it's
but
only a
this
foot. Like
shoe?
that's, your foot isn't just like, I mean, yeah, there's a joint there, but then there's also a joint at the knee and then the hip. Like, I don't know. I just feel like more pieces could have.
I agree.
Yeah.
I definitely agree
weird.
with you. According to Willing, people were really stressing over Melissa's disappearance, including her clients, family, and friends, because why the hell wouldn't they? Like, this lady owes them a lot of money, and she just disappeared. I'd be furious. I'd be like, find this bitch.
Her poor son.
CCTV footage was reviewed extensively, but they were unable to determine exactly where she went after leaving the house. So since the footage, of course, didn't cover the entire area from where she disappeared, there's no final determination on how Melissa, or her foot at least, ended up in the ocean. Assistant Commissioner Michael Willing called it one of the most high-profile missing persons cases he's seen in 30 years.
I'd say.
For sure. So, some theories. The New South Wales Police is open to various theories of what happened to Melissa Caddick, including suicide, murder, and the possibility that she faked the whole thing. I think we're all kind of on the she faked the whole thing bandwagon here.
She has the means to do it. That's the thing.
Police have previously said the facts that Miss Caddick left personal belongings at her home suggests that she took her own life. So they feel like because she didn't bring anything, that it's most likely suicide. But I think she's too narcissistic to do something like that. Right. I think that she probably had the means to get like a fake passport or something like that, where she wouldn't have needed the one that was confiscated.
Yeah.
That's just me. University of Newcastle Associate Professor of Criminology, Dr. Xanthi Mallet, who spoke to 7 Network's Weekend Sunrise, pointed out that losing a foot should not immediately mean Caddick is deceased. Thank you, sir. That's what we've been saying all along. Saying, when it was just a foot, I would caution against the possibility that somebody is deceased. You can survive without your foot. That's exactly what Kevin said, sir. We agree with you 1,000%. In an October 2021 interview, Anthony Coletti said that Caddick never stole any money and that somebody has killed his wife. So Anthony does not believe that his wife was this insane con woman that she was. Like, he believes that somebody killed her.
And forged all the paperwork of
someone else did that, not
He wants
Melissa.
that money.
Another theory is that
He's like,
Melissa...
I married rich, okay? I expect to have what I
deserve
married.
this. Another theory is that Melissa cut off her own foot to make everyone believe that she is dead. There is a new 2-part Underbelly series that I haven't seen, but I was reading about it. And there is a theory that she was scooped up in a yacht and taken to another country. So police are mainly working on the theory that she took her own life when she went for a jog, because during that raid, her passport was taken. So it's unlikely that she's in another country. Again, she could probably have a fake passport made.
Or, like I said, she's got the means. You can have a fake passport. You can, I'm sure.
I don't know who would be scooping her up in a yacht, because it kind of seemed like she fucked everybody over. So, like, who is standing up for her? Exactly.
Yeah.
Maybe kidnapped her in a yacht.
Yeah.
That is a possibility. Maybe they're... Oh, never mind. I just went really dark in my mind. I was like, maybe they're dismembering her piece by piece.
That's what I was thinking. That was the first piece to go, the foot.
So, although Anthony refuses to believe that his wife is a con, his father, Anthony's father, doesn't agree and actually isn't fully convinced that she's really even dead. I'm with you, sir. Mm-hmm. When asked by officers if he believed that Caddick was dead, Mr. Coletti responded, I do not feel police have to date provided enough information for me to form an opinion one way or the other if Melissa is dead. The man has questions. Quote, how much of the mysterious foot was found in the shoe? How was it severed? How did they explain that forensic scientists stated that it was unlikely that the shoe had been in the ocean for less than 2 weeks, but she'd been missing for 3 months, 3+ months? All very good questions, Mr. Coletti. I also would like to know.
Mm-hmm. You see, that's what I'm saying. Like, I need more information about that. How was it cut?
You need more
What
details.
It look like? Yeah.
Anthony?
And, like, you'd think, too, like, how much of that foot would really be left if it was 3 months? Fish are going to eat that.
Exactly.
Yeah. I don't know about the decomposition
very
process of
It
a
would've
body
been-
in the water, but I know it definitely decomposes quicker, and fish are hungry.
Yeah.
So-
Some
And isn't
sweet
the climate
food.
similar to our climate here? Very humid?
yeah, and hot. Yeah.
All very good questions. I don't know. And so Anthony was not a suspect, and his dad also believes that his son is not capable of such a scheme.
My son's too
His son, the
stupid for this.
basically his son, the hairdresser.
Yeah.
He also said, not saying that hairdressers are not intelligent, just saying what his dad is saying about his son.
You know what? Also, though, like, you know how they can't declare someone dead? Like, all right, someone's missing and there's blood, but they can only declare them dead if it's a certain amount of blood. Like, it has to be proven that
I
it's
didn't know
enough.
that.
It's enough that, like, you couldn't live without that amount. Like,
Is that everywhere? Or
I know it for here at least, but I mean that's everywhere. Like, scientifically, because we can only live without so much blood. So, like, usually you can't decide, like, if you show up to a house, you're like, all right, this person's missing and there's a lot of blood here. Like, you can look and they go, okay, this is so many pints of blood. Yeah, you can't live without that much blood. So that we're declaring them dead. Or there's only blood where you're like, okay, there's not enough to be dead, but so, like, they don't have an amount of blood. Like, I feel like I couldn't, as a police officer, be like, okay, we're declaring her dead, because, like, you can live without a foot.
I agree 100% on everything you just said. So, his dad, like I said, doesn't believe that his son is capable of such a scheme. He also said that his son doesn't have any business prowess and wouldn't have been aware of his wife's alleged fraudulence.
So basically, he's a big dummy.
Quote.
He's just here. He's pretty.
Quote, even if Melissa's business documents were sitting on the kitchen table in front of Anthony, he would not know what he was looking at. He doesn't have the business capacity to know what a financial scheme is. Mr. Coletti told the Daily Telegraph, damn, Dad!
Yeah.
You know what, though?
Sounds like, shit, throw me under the bus, Pop.
Hey, I'd be like, thank you. The only time in my life I'm like, thank you for calling me an idiot. Thank you for calling me an idiot.
I agree, because you don't want to be tied up with this shit, Anthony.
No.
These are not problems that you want.
But also, too, like, how often, like, I don't know enough about that. I wouldn't know how. Like,
I wouldn't
It could be right in
either.
front of me. I'm like, this looks like a bunch of numbers. Fun.
I agree.
I wouldn't know either.
I'm not an accountant. These
And
are
I
not
would,
things
and I
I
would
would
want to
know.
hear her like, oh, I came home from work. Let's talk about it. Like, yeah, there's a good conversation.
Do you want to hear about all the numbers I crunched today?
Yeah,
No,
like,
thank
it's
you.
Boring. Like, I just trust you. Let me see your bank account. Looks good. Looks like good numbers to me.
Well, we're going to Aspen. We're going to Fiji, so
Sounds
I'm
like a
happy.
good
I
day.
think we're doing good.
Yep.
Exactly.
No questions asked. Let's go.
So, for Caddick's funeral, it was a small private service with only a handful of people in attendance, probably because she fucked literally everyone in her life over. Caddick's husband was there. Her parents, Barbara and Ted Grimley, bless them, even though she screwed them over, they were still there.
But they raised her.
Her brother, Adam Grimley.
I shouldn't say that. I have kids. I'm not gonna lie.
Her brother, Adam Grimley. They gathered with friends at the West Chapel in Matraville on April 6th to say their goodbyes. At the time of this article, a death certificate had not yet been obtained, but it's been about a year since this article, so I'm not sure. But her foot had been cremated. The foot got cremated.
I don't know why that's funny to me.
I thought that was kind of funny, too.
Who has her cremations?
I don't know.
Well, I mean, what else are you going to do with it?
What's in the urn? Mom's foot.
Oh, my goodness.
It's like, hey, don't touch my mom's foot. The foot fetish. It's so creepy.
The latest I could find from a Daily Mail article released in April of this year, a long-awaited coroner's inquest into the mysterious disappearance and suspected death of missing con woman Melissa Caddick will be held within months. This leads me to believe that they found more. Because if the fucking foot was cremated, what the hell are they
What's the coroner
investigating?
looking at?
Exactly.
Oh, maybe they did find more.
So maybe they found more stuff that they're not telling us. The 2-week inquest is expected to happen in September 12th through 26th, although they do say dates could possibly change. Caddick's husband, Anthony Coletti, and her parents, Ted and Barbara Grimley, are among those expected to be called to give evidence. So that does not mean that they are suspects or that they had any knowledge of the crimes. Just to be very clear, we are not saying that they are accomplices or anything. It's just saying that they are going to be called to give evidence. A crack in the case came from a podcast called Liar, Liar, Melissa Caddick and the Missing Millions by journalist Kate McClement. Revealed that the con woman approached a lender of last resort after stealing $23 million of her investors' money.
I'll have to listen to that
So
now.
I know I'll have to go back and listen to it. I did not listen to it prior to this. But it sounds like a very interesting podcast because this is a pretty interesting case.
This is an interesting case.
I'm sure I'm missing tons of details, tons of facts, but whenever you guys want to start donating to that Patreon, maybe I can start including
Once we
more
set it
facts.
up, yeah, we can redo stories.
So she thought that she could make back the fortune by investing in the highly volatile cryptocurrency market. Isn't that crazy? Mm-hmm. So they also discovered that the $1.1 million that Caddick stole from her parents was used to buy a flawless diamond for $590,000. So you stole $1 million from your parents
For
to
a
buy
fucking
yourself
diamond?
a diamond?
That's stupid. See, that's the thing. It's like
My God.
all this stuff. Like that's ridiculous. Like you're just bad. You're bad. You're a bad person.
That's insanely selfish. These are your parents,
fucking
the
diamond.
people that raised you.
Like,
and
why don't you buy them a house?
clothed you exactly and fed you your whole entire life, and you're screwing them over their life savings, their livelihoods,
For a
their
freaking
home
diamond. I hope it's
for a
cubic
diamond?
zirconia.
So they discovered that she had spent that money to buy a flawless diamond instead of paying off the Edgecliff apartment that
That
their
they thought.
parents were living
Okay.
in, and that they had already sold their family home for. The
So
family home
if
at
you
Canals
needed
Point.
Any clear evidence that she was a piece of shit, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Complete garbage. They sold their family home.
God, I want to know what they think of all
It's
this.
infuriating.
Like, obviously, they'd show up to, like, her memorial and all that. They're her parents. But I wonder what I would like to hear their
their
opinion.
perspective
Yeah.
would be interesting. I wonder if the podcast interviewed them.
That would be
We'll have to listen to it. The
What an
podcast.
emotional roller coaster for them, too, though. Because, like,
I
way to be
know.
pissed off, and then your kid's missing. And, of course, no matter what your child does, you're going to be, like, worried,
You're
sick,
still
and
gonna show up to the
You're gonna
heartbroken.
think like, oh, did I contribute to this?
It's like a whole
monster?
thing. It's a lot. I'd be,
It's devastating
I'd be
all
a mess.
around.
Yeah.
Oh, I feel so bad for them. The podcast features an interview with one of Caddick's victims who describes what she believes is a tell that Caddick was being deceitful. She would do a weird lip licking thing when she was lying. Ew, so gross.
Like a lizard. Like the cold-hearted bitch that she is.
I won't take any more details from that amazing source in that article that I found. There was more details, but I'm not going to reveal them here because I think that you guys should go listen to that podcast yourself. Obviously, it sounds like this journalist took a long time to produce it. And
did her
it's
homework.
Very worth. Yeah, she did her homework way better than I did, and it's worth a listen, I'm certain. So that is the most up-to-date information I could find for Melissa Caddick and
That's good.
her story and where she
story.
is or isn't right now.
To be continued.
Yeah, right. We'll have to keep
in
an eye on that.
September they're having the Inquisition, the 2-week Inquisition thing.
Ooh.
That's crazy.
This is interesting. Yeah, because like I can totally see her being dead because she had a lot of enemies. There's a lot of reason for her to be dead.
A lot of people wanted to kill
but
her,
then
I'm
also
sure.
you can live without a foot.
So this is a
there she
picture of
is.
Melissa Caddick.
Like I said, had to be charming.
That's the foot.
Ooh, let me see that.
It's blurred out.
Oh.
Maybe we can find an unblurred version. But this is the one from the article that
Did she
I
get caught dead in some
sourced.
Skechers? All that money?
Those are Asics.
Oh, okay.
She would never.
She would never wear Skechers.
No offense to Skechers, because I've had many pairs of Skechers.
Super comfortable.
They're Asics.
And this is her and Anthony,
The hairdresser?
the hairdresser.
He doesn't know what's
I
going on.
wonder if he did her hair.
Oh.
Probably.
Well,
He
loves
was her
she loves
hairdresser
to get a
to
good
begin
deal.
with.
So, like, she's like, I won't have to pay him.
And getting her hair done regularly is expensive.
Yeah.
Girl, tell me about it.
This is her when they were going through her home.
Look at that.
Look at that oh shit face.
Look at that. Look at those shoulders and arms. That's where the protein shakes
There
came
you
in.
go.
Exactly. You can tell that she lifts. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that is Melissa Caddick.
That's a good story. I'd never heard of that.
I have so many theories.
I know. It's like I can't even settle on like she's dead, she's not. Like you can live
Yeah.
without a foot. I couldn't, on a legal perspective, like I couldn't say she's dead because you can live without a foot, and unless there's any more pieces, like
Yeah.
The only reason
it
I
is
think that she
interesting.
might be dead is because they're doing that 2-week coroner's thing later this year in September, which to me, I feel like if it was just a foot, what would they be examining?
yeah. Well, no, if they come out and say, "Hey, there's more pieces,"
sure,
then I can go. All right, maybe she's dead.
There's so many things. It could be
Yeah.
she cut her own foot off. It could be someone that she stole money from, hired someone to torture her.
It's true.
could
And that's
still
the
be
thing
alive
too. They're
and being
saying like
tortured.
they think she left and killed herself, but then also like,
I just
what
don't
if
see
someone
her
came
killing
into
herself.
her house and took her out by gunpoint?
I think that's very possible.
And abducted her,
And that's
you
why she
know?
didn't take anything.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, it's interesting. Like it's so open ended. It's so surprising because you love a
I
good
know.
ending.
I love a good bow tie or like a bow on the ending.
Yeah, you like to have things wrapped up. So I'm
Nice
surprised.
and wrapped up. But
no, that was a good one though.
Maybe we'll see a hand wash up or something in the near future.
I'm still waiting for the skull.
There we go.
skull. That's what you need.
Yeah. She didn't go anywhere without her skull.
Exactly. You're right. That was a good story. I really
Thank
liked
you,
that.
guys.
I actually was looking into like a recent story that they just identified a body, and actually that's what kind of shifted me into something. Like they from a girl from Tampa, they just she was been a Jane Doe for like was it 30 years?
A
40
girl
years?
from Tampa.
Mhm,
We
but
have
it's
so
linked
many
to a
murders
serial
here.
killer. So that's got me on my little journey. So I'm not gonna.
It's
That'll
not
be
the girl in the picture, is it? That was
no, but that was good. Did you
Oh,
watch
was
that?
Good.
The
Yeah.
girl in the picture.
Netflix.
On Netflix?
I have not.
Oh, you need
Oh,
to.
That hits right at home.
I'm really bad about falling asleep during stuff, so
well, you made it
I
through
need to
Game
watch
of Thrones,
it.
so.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I didn't.
Game of Thrones is good.
No, this was
you guys
good.
Need to
I
stop
don't think
talking
you'll
about
fall
how you haven't
asleep.
seen it.
I don't think you're gonna fall asleep with that. It was
it's
good.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll see some
to
landmarks
watch
that
it
you.
then.
Well, at least I'm familiar with the Mons Venus, but you know.
Yeah. But no, that was good. And it was just like, it was really interesting and like heartbreaking.
Yeah. Yeah.
It really highlights a lot of our downfalls.
And it was brought to us by the people who did my favorite, Abducted in Plain Sight.
Really?
Yeah. No, it was good. It was really
very well done.
well done, and the story is so sad, and like I said, it highlights a lot of what's wrong with our system. You know what I mean? Like just so many things were overlooked for so long. But yeah, it was good.
And you
should
get
watch it.
answers in the end.
And you do get answers in
I
the end.
love answers.
Because you think it's going towards like, okay,
Yeah, like what's happening
what the
here?
hell? Who is it? But then at the end, makes sense.
And it kind of ends like nothing's happy about it, but at least it ends like you get the answers and you feel like, okay, like at least we know.
Some
yeah.
closure.
Yeah, exactly. It was good. Anything else I've watched lately? I watched the Victoria's Secret thing on Hulu.
Oh, I started watching that.
What's that about?
Hey.
Oh my goodness.
It's like the dark side of Victoria's
It's actually
Secret.
not surprising that Jeffrey Epstein was involved with.
I knew about
stuff
that.
like that.
I did know that he used to use that. I just didn't know like it goes in deeper with it. Basically, it's like all the pig men that just
But what
sexualize
did
women.
surprise me, like what I wonder about, is what was his name, Wexler? Mm-hmm. What led him to sign everything over to Epstein? Like, did he have some serious stir on him, or what? Was he really that charming?
Or did you get to the point where they're like, maybe they were lovers?
Ooh, no, I did not.
Okay, so there's that.
Yikes.
Because, yeah, why would you? Why would you be that charmed by anyone with all of your money? Come on.
Even then, though.
Oh, yeah, no, I don't get it. It's weird. There's a lot of weird there. There's a lot of weird. But, yeah, it was pretty good. It was interesting. It's just, after a while, like, I had to turn it off and then go back to it because I was like, all right, it's like the same old Epstein piggish men thing. I'm like, I just need a
Yeah,
little
I
break
can
for
only
that.
handle so much of that.
Yeah. It was interesting. Not as interesting as the other one.
Well, we've all got homework now.
Yeah. And break.
Well, that was my story for this week, everybody. Thank you again for coming back.
I loved the story this week.
Thank you.
And if you want to reach out to us, you can get in touch with us at mostlymacabrepod@gmail.com.
And our IG is Mostly Macabre Podcast.
We hope you keep listening.
Bye.